Hey guys, this is Candle, and well, it's been a while since I've done one of these, but you know, you can tell probably because the shelves behind me are bare and these ones over here are a little bit jumbled up, plus the new camera angle. I rearranged my living room a little bit recently and realized there was a reason why I had everything set the way it was. I just have too much shit going on to try to change it up too much. So I did end up changing up things on my desk, but I decided, you know what? It's been a while. A long time ago, I showed off my games collection, like went through a game by game, and those videos are no longer on my channel, but some of my more recent, well, from the last couple of years, collection updates are available on the channel still. And I figured, you know what, why not just go ahead and go through pretty much my entire collection and show everything off and see what's going on. So first up, the games that are going to be going on these shelves over here, my PC games collection. Uh, Boy, let's just get into it, shall we? Starting off things, I have some OEM discs that came originally with a graphics card a long time ago. So you can kind of see them through these odd cases I have for them. But I've got Duke Nukem, The Manhattan Project, Total Mutant Mayhem. Now, I haven't actually played this game. I've never touched this. As I understand that this is one of the original side-scrolling platformer games that Duke Nukem started as, before turning into a first-person shooter with Duke 3D. But I wasn't actually allowed to play this as a kid. My dad hid this disc from me when he got that graphics card for me, and so I've never actually played this. You can even see it says MSI, like bundle version. Put that up there. MSI bundle version, not for resale. So I don't actually know what is involved in this game. I think he better understood the reputation Duke Nukem had gotten from Duke 3D. So I don't think he really quite understood this game. But in that same package, also got a couple more discs. I keep these two bundled together. I got Tom Clancy's Ghost Recon, which again I've never really put much time into, and then Games Collection 7-in-1, which you know, I'm not even sure if these are full games on here, honestly, because a couple of them I've tried. I've never really been able to get running properly, but it has the Sum of All Fears, IL-2, Sturmovik, Serious Sam, The Second Encounter, Rally Trophy, Beam Breakers, Zax the Alien Hunter, and Oni. And for those of you that don't know, Oni was one of the games that Bungie did before they put out Halo. They did their marathon games, then they did Oni, and then Halo, and the rest is kind of history from that. And the other OEM disc I got from the same package is another 2-disc set, but it is the Elder Scrolls 3 Morrowind. This is the first disc is the actual game. The second disc is the TES construction set for like modding and stuff, the mod tools basically. And this was probably the first Western RPG I'd ever played. Before this, my experience with RPGs had pretty much just been Final Fantasy and maybe a few other JRPGs, and that's really it. So playing a game like this the first time, I could not wrap my head around it. Not to mention it crashed quite a bit, but I never really got, I enjoyed what I played of it, but I never really got too far into it back then. I also have, from a different graphics card came included, Call of Duty World at War. Again, just an OEM disc here. This was the very first Call of Duty game I ever played, and I quite enjoyed it. But beyond that, I have quite a few other games to go through. We have the classic turn-based 4X strategy game, Age of Wonders, which I am currently doing a Let's Play of. I gotta actually record more of that soon, because I recorded like the first hour and a half, and then I haven't recorded since, unfortunately. But I do plan to do that this week. I'm actually on vacation this week, so that's why I'm taking my time to do all this. Beyond that, I also have Age of Empires Gold Edition, which I also need to do a Let's Play of. I'll probably do the Definitive Edition, which is currently available on the Windows Store because it runs better on Windows 10. But this includes Age of Wonders and the Rise of Rome expansion, all on one disc. Slip it out of the cardboard thing here. Yeah, it's all on one disc. Just says Age of Empires Gold Edition. Quite enjoyable. Very fun real-time strategy game series. I prefer Age of Empires 2 more, but we'll get to that eventually. Beyond that, I also have 3-in-1 Family Fun Pack. I gotta remember to angle these right so that you guys can actually read them, because the main window from I'm getting all my lightings from that direction. So if I angle it the wrong way, you get too much glare. But this includes Gold Mahjong, Maurice Ashley Teaches Chess, and Myst, the classic point-and-click adventure, which I absolutely adore. Absolutely adore it. It is such an amazing game. And so amazing, in fact, I've done 2 Let's Plays of it so far. I'll probably do a 3rd before too long, just to get Myst Masterpiece Edition out of there. Because, well, quite frankly, I love this game. You can never have too much Myst. But that's not all of my jewel case games. I have quite a few more here. Let's go ahead and break this up, switch them up a little bit, because I had them in pretty near alphabetical order. So let's go ahead and get through them. So we've got, here, let's get this one too. These actually came part of a bundled pack where they were back to front, but I have Siberia and Siberia 2. Again, classic point-and-click adventure games. Very, very wonderful. They were among the first games I ever did a Let's Play of. And, ooh, I forgot these actually even have flaps in the cardboard here. Oh, you remember when games did that? Quite a bunch of these do that. But there you go. Get to see a little bit of that. So yeah, quite wonderful point-and-click adventure games. The 3rd one's not quite up to snuff, but we'll get into that a little bit later as well. Again, they were among the first games I ever LP'd way, way back in the day. Can you believe that was almost 10 years ago? That was back in late 2010 when I did that. Wow, that's amazing. Anyways, really, really enjoyable point-and-click adventure games. Really beautiful. I also have SimCity 2000. This is the special edition, which includes SimCity 2000, the Herbal Renewal Kit, and Disaster Scenarios. Unfortunately, this game no longer runs as is on Windows. Thankfully, GOG has been able to get the DOS version running, so you can get it that way. Really, really wonderful city planner, city builder. I also have Risk 2, which is basically the classic board game in computer form. Nothing more about that. And of course, what computer game collection is complete without Oregon Trail? I keep getting that angle wrong, but yes, Oregon Trail. I really have very little to say about this. I've never actually played it. I know a lot of people have fond memories of playing this in school and whatever, but never did that for me. All right. So we have also Keepsake, an unforgettable adventure, which actually is fairly forgettable. This is from the Adventure Company, the same people. They publish a lot of classic point-and-click adventure games back in the day, back in the late 90s and early 2000s. And this one, I really don't have too much to say about it, other than that it has some of the oddest, most confusing point-and-click puzzles I've ever seen. So much so that they actually included an in-game guide for this to help players. And I really would not play it without that guide, unfortunately. But we must press on, because I also have the classic Tomb Raider. Yes, this is the only PC Tomb Raider game I have on disc. I have like the entirety of them, except for Shadow of the Tomb Raider. That's the only one I don't have yet on Steam. But still really good. I did a Let's Play of those a long time ago. I really should get back to doing them, though, because I kind of stopped at 3 for the classic ones, at least. I've done all the recent ones except for Shadow of the Tomb Raider and like some of the DLC for Rise of the Tomb Raider, but it's really not out there for the DLC. There's no real like big story moments or anything, so there's not really a need. But continuing on, you've got the franchise, well, movie franchise that inspired Tomb Raider. This is the video game counterpart. This is Indiana Jones and the Infernal Machine. This was, before this, they'd done a couple Indiana Jones point-and-click adventure games. That's what LucasArts was really known for, was point-and-clicks. So they ended up trying their hand at a 3D action adventure game, kind of similar to Tomb Raider. And I thought it did really well. I really enjoyed this game. One of these days, I got to do a Let's Play of that. And I got to stop stumbling over my words, too. Anyways, we also have the wicked 3D action fantasy game Heretic 2. This is the sequel to Hex and Beyond Heretic. Or wait, no, sorry. How it went was there was Heretic, Heretic, Dawn of the Shadow Riders or something like that. Rise of the Serpent Riders or something. I don't remember. But then they followed that up with Hex and Beyond Heretic, and that spawned off its own series. And then this was kind of supposed to go back to the original game and spin it off into third person. I haven't actually played this though. I picked this up at a Salvation Army, funnily enough, and I haven't actually played this myself. But the last of the last of my jewel case games is the Game of the Year edition of Homeworld. Classic real-time strategy game. Really odd one too. You have persistent fleets from scenario to scenario, and it's fully in 3D. Whereas like really when a real-time strategy game goes 3D, usually it's still on a 2D plane or a 3D environment. But this actually, since it's all space and everything, it really is three-dimensional, and it's really wonderful. But that's my jewel case games. Now, it is time for my regular box PC games, and there's quite a few of them. I'm looking at this. I got a stack here. I got stacks over here. I got a shit ton of them. So let's just go ahead and go through them, right? All right. First up, I have, in its entirety, the Starcraft 2 Trilogy. Yes, I have Wings of Liberty, which I picked up at Best Buy back when they still put these stickers on their games. I have Heart of the Swarm, and I even have Legacy of the Void. Yeah. What can I say about this? I mean, excellent not turn-based, real-time strategy game, good successor to the original Starcraft. Really wonderful story, too. It was a shame that they decided to split the original game into 3, basically by doing a base game and 2 expansions. So in order to play the continuing races in the campaign, you had to wait for the expansion. That kind of sucked, but I thought it was well worth the wait, really. They really did well, because each campaign is like 20 to 30 scenarios long, which is about as long as the original game was. And that had all three races in it. So I think they really stretched out really well. Did pretty well with this. So I'm glad to have all 3 in physical form. I'm just going to set these over here. Build things up that way. Speaking of real-time strategy, though, I do also have Age of Empires 2, The Age of Kings, and the Conquerors expansion. I do have these. I remember, oh god, I love Age of Empires 2. I remember I would go to with my mom to work during the summer. She worked for my granddad at the time, and my uncle also worked there as well. And he had a cracked version of Age of Empires 2 sitting on his computer. So that's what I would do while my mom was working, was I would sit on my uncle's computer and I would play Age of Empires 2 for a couple hours while my mom got some work in on the weekends. So I eventually had to get it myself, and this was back when, oh my god, this was back when computer games cost $20, $30 a pop, because console games at the time cost $20, $30 at a pop. This was back in the days of the GameCube, the PS2, and the original Xbox. People don't really remember this now, but games used to cost a lot less for that small era where disc games had taken over, and because cartridge games cost a lot when they came out because they cost a lot to produce. And then disc games came along, and that really dropped the actual production costs of the discs themselves significantly. So for some reason, publishers and developers were able to pass those savings along to the end user, and game prices dropped significantly. But then, of course, Microsoft jacked them up again for the Xbox 360 on the advent of the HD era, so prices started going up as well. Computer games were still about $50 for a good while, but after about 2013, it was pretty standard to see even PC games, even digital PC games, launch at $30 or at $60, which just drives me crazy still today. I don't know why they did that, but moving on. We also have, well, may as well talk about the rest of the franchise that I got. I have Age of Empires 3 and the War Chiefs expansion. There is a second expansion for this game, Asian Dynasties, which I unfortunately do not have. one of these days I'll get it, add it to my collection, but really, really wonderful to play these games. Not as good as Age of Empires 2, I felt, because they took everything to 3D polygonal base instead of 2D sprites, and it didn't quite work as well, I don't think, as the original 2D sprite-based work did. For one thing, you couldn't use forests as defense anymore, so walls ended up becoming prohibitively expensive to build, and it wasn't really worth it anymore to really figure on defense. But whereas the original Age of Empires focused on the ancient and the classical world, and the Age of Empires 2 focused on the medieval world, this was all about the colonial world, specifically colonial America, believe it or not. So the War Chiefs was definitely about conflicts between early American settlers and early American history and the native population. Not a very pleasant time in our history, but still a fun game to play. What can I say? All right, and of course, the mid-step between Age of Empires 2 and Age of Empires 3 was a spin-off called Age of Mythology, where you got to explore the more fantastical elements of Earth's history, where you got to pit Norse gods against Greek gods and Egyptian gods and so on. There was an expansion for this as well. I think it was called the Titans, that brought in, I think, Chinese mythology as well as maybe a couple others. But those were the big three for this one, was Greek, Norse, and Egyptian. And to see all these mythical creatures and everything, duke them out and stuff like that. Quite a fun game as well. One of these days I do got to get the expansion though. All right. Well, I talked about it earlier. Oh, no, I'll wait a little bit longer. May as well go with something more recent, though, in strategy form. Xcom 2 with its awesome, holofoil cover here. Excellent turn-based strategy game. So it's more about squad-based tactics than these grand strategy games that I'm usually into, but still quite an enjoyable game. Takes a long while to play, though, but a lot of fun regardless. And I'm going to try to get through these quickly as well, because I got a lot to go through, and I don't want this to go too long, because I got all those to go through too. So anyways, moving on, I have an MMO that I have never actually played. In fact, this is actually still in the cellophane. It's Rift. And I don't even know if this game is even still live. Can somebody answer that for me? I got given this game. It was part of a swag bag for PAX East. I don't remember if it was 2011 or 2012. I'm guessing 2012, but I'm not entirely sure. It does say, this was subscription-based at the time. Maybe it's gone free to play. I don't know. But I've honestly never played it, so I don't have anything else to say about it. All right. Speaking of MMOs, may as well. All right. Let's sort some of this out, because I've got all of the expansions. So, all right. This is the vanilla version of World of Warcraft. This is the second expansion, Burning Crusade. I also have Wrath of the Lich King, Cataclysm, which is actually about when I started playing the game, Mists of Pandaria, Warlords of Draenor, Legion, and then the one that finally broke me, Battle for Azeroth. And I say broke me because there's no disc in here. It really sucks. There's a key to add it to your account, but there's no disc, which defeats, in my eyes, it defeats the purpose of having a physical edition of the game. And, you know, I kept collecting. I picked it up because I was basically collecting them. I know they're not the collector's editions, but, you know, I have like all of the physical copies of all the expansions and everything, so I picked it up anyways. But this is a game I have an odd relationship with World of Warcraft. I did not play it way back when. And so I like I said, I joined in at Cataclysm, And for me, it's not a game I play for the story. I know a lot of people do. They really enjoy the story and the lore and everything. But I don't play it for the story at all. And I'm getting hot. I've got to take this thing off. All right. Bear with me a second. But yeah, I don't play World of Warcraft at all for the story. Honestly, I do it just for the grind. Just for the level grind. Just to get up to max level. And then I stop. But unfortunately, Battle for Azeroth, I just couldn't do it. You know, I ended up canceling my subscription before I got to max level. I couldn't get all the way up there. It sucks, but that's the way it is. But continuing on the MMO trend, I also have Warhammer Online Age of Reckoning, which is no longer live, so you can't actually play this game anymore, which sucks. There might be some people running maybe some private servers somewhere. I have no idea, but I doubt it. But this was one of the first MMOs I played. I didn't really enjoy it too much, so I canceled my subscription before even running out of the 30-day trial. But I actually picked this copy up back when Circuit City was shutting down. I was able to pick it up really cheap. I don't know why I'm sweating so much. Anyways, I don't even know why I said that. Moving on. Yep, let's get them. Alright, so I mentioned Age of Wonders earlier on, how I'm doing Let's Play of it. I do plan on eventually Let's Playing the sequels as well, which I also have here. Age of Wonders 2, The Wizard's Throne, and Age of Wonders Shadow Magic, which is more of an expand-alone to Age of Wonders 2, because it uses a lot of the same assets, adds a few other things, but uses a lot of the same assets, continues the story and everything. So that is, I definitely enjoy these games. I will be doing a Let's Play later on. A lot of gameplay changes to these from the first one that the more I think about it, the more I think probably was for the better, but Age of Wonders is still probably my favorite of its series, the original. So, alright. Speaking of other MMOs, though, I've tried out quite a number of these, but does anybody remember Ion? This was an MMO that was really interesting because you got to play as one of two races, and both could fly, and they were opposing halves of this broken world, and it was really, really interesting. And of course, this is a steelbook as well, so that's cool as well. But I think it went free to play at some point. I honestly don't really know because I haven't played it in years and years. I never got too invested in it, unfortunately. But speaking of other games people haven't gotten too invested in, does anybody remember Brink? This was a shooter from Bethesda. I don't think it came directly from them, but it was published by them. And not too many people remember this, I don't think. This was doing the whole team-based shooter thing. Not quite the hero shooter that we're used to nowadays, but it's kind of like Team Fortress 2. It was doing the whole team-based shooter thing way back when, but never really picked up Steam or anything. Anyways, classic game, this one. I have Black and White Deluxe. This is the original Black and White plus Creature Isle expansion. Never got too much into this one, though. I haven't really played it too much. But this is a God game from Lionhead Studios, Peter Molyneux and all that. So I have enjoyed what I have played of it. I just never got too invested in it, unfortunately. And that's going to be a running theme for a lot of these games. Alright, so we also have the ill-fated Mass Effect Andromeda, which I am also pissed off about, because you see that little badge there in the corner? It says download only, no disc included. In fact, if you open it up, nothing. No disc, nada. I did enjoy this game. I was a little bit let down by the story, but I wasn't really put off by the lackluster animations a lot of people were. I did still enjoy it, so... So next up is a game I originally had on the 360. I no longer have the 360 version because it runs like shit there. But it is The Last Remnant. And this is an interesting game where Square Enix was trying a lot of new things, trying to start up a lot of new series at the time. And this one was it was all about army battles. So you would command like whole armies in battle and stuff. It was really quite interesting. One of these days I really have to give it more of a try though. Alright, so we also have one of the best licensed games I've ever played. The original Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone, Philosopher's Stone in the UK and elsewhere in Europe for PC. And really interesting fact about these was because it came out on quite a number of different systems that were widely different in terms of technical specifications, the games are all pretty varied. This one is a third-person 3D character action adventure game. Not too dissimilar from the PlayStation version, but it's still different. So it's still enjoyable. I love having these. So glad that I have that. I also have the Half-Life 2 Holiday 2006 collection, which includes Half-Life 1 Source, Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, and Counter-Strike Source. Not to mention death matches for Half-Life 1 and Half-Life 2. So pretty enjoyable. You guys should know my thoughts on Half-Life by now. I've Let's Played pretty much every game in the franchise. But to keep things moving, because I'm starting to get hungry. I woke up really super early this morning and haven't been too active, and I have not eaten all that much. So I need to speed through these. So I'd say we're about halfway through anyways. So I also have Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, which are free to play at this point, I think. Guild Wars was always odd in that you had to... They worked like other games where you bought a copy of the game and that got you your account. And then it was just free to play after that for as long as you wanted. But I never really got too far into them. I've never even picked up any of the expansions for either of them either. But I do have them in my collection. But I also have the current availability for Final Fantasy XIV. I have A Realm Reborn, I have Heavensward, and I have Stormblood. I didn't actually pick up Heavensward until I got Stormblood, so it was odd when I went to put the key in and it refused to take it. But the good news is when you have Stormblood, it includes Heavensward as well. So I don't know if they're going to do that for the same thing with the new expansion. I did finish the story for Realm Reborn, but I didn't get into the Heavensward or Stormblood content. So I still have to do those yet before the new expansion comes out. So I got to get back into this. Alright, and now the last stack of normal box games. We have Don't Nod's Vampire, which is not quite what I was expecting, but it does have some interesting features as well. It's kind of plays like a Dark Souls style game, at least in terms of combat, but it has this weird feature where the more you learn about certain characters, the more experience they are worth when you actually finally feed on them, because of course you play as a vampire, so of course you gotta drink blood. I also have Tom Clancy's The Division, which has the distinct pleasure of being the only game I have ever seen come on 5 DVDs. You know, I have another game that's on 5 CDs, but I've never seen a game come on more than 4 DVDs until now. This is the original Division. Division 2 just launched. I haven't played any of the DLC for this. I probably won't. I probably won't pick up the Division 2. It was enjoyable for its time, but I just don't really feel like it. I also have the much maligned Siberia 3. So like I said, I have Siberia 1 and 2, which are actually included in this as well. But Siberia 3 just took way too long, unfortunately. I just don't really much care for it. One of these days I'll probably do a Let's Play of it, though, just to get it out of the way, because it is Siberia. And then I also have Star Wars The Old Republic. I got this back when this game first launched. Wow. That was back in, what, 2011. So, wow, that was a long time ago. I never got too far into it, though, unfortunately. I don't know why. And I completely forgot about these over here. Stacking games on them. I have Civilization 6. I know a new expansion just launched for this. I still have yet to pick it up. Quite enjoyable game. I am getting really hungry and a little bit shaky and weak. I don't know if you can see that on camera. But I need to finish this up quickly because I need to take a break and eat something. I also have the Gods and Kings expansion for Civilization 5. I do have Civilization 5. I'll show that off here in a minute. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find the second expansion in physical form, so that kind of sucks. But I do also have Sid Meier's Civilization 3 complete, and you can see I've got all the discs in there. Civilization 3, Civ 3 Play the World, and then there's Civ 3 Conquests or something like that, I think it's called. I'm not sure. And I also have the gold edition of Rollercoaster Tycoon, which includes both expansions. I have Prey from a few years ago. Really enjoyable game. It has nothing to do with the 2006 360 game, but still quite fun. Of course, what PC games collection is complete without the orange box, which includes Half-Life 2, Half-Life 2 Episode 1, Half-Life 2 Episode 2, Team Fortress 2, and Portal. Quite a big collection there. Really, really enjoyable. Pretty much all of them on there are excellent games. I also have Diablo 3 and Diablo 3 Reaper of Souls. Not as good as Diablo 2, but still very good. I have Dragon Age Origins and Dragon Age Origins Awakening. I really like how the cover art kind of fits together here. Those are really enjoyable games. One of these days I got to do a Let's Play of them, especially since I've never played the DLC, and I actually haven't been keeping up on the franchise. I never played Dragon Age 2 or Inquisition, and now I know they're working on a fourth one, so I got to keep up on that too. You can tell I'm trying to speed through this right now, can't you? Alright, I also have 2016's Doom reboot, which is really a good return to form for the Doom franchise. And then I also have Dishonored 2 and Dishonored Death of the Outsider, which is kind of an expand alone. It was originally meant to be DLC for Dishonored 2, but they kind of took it off on its own. I do have Dishonored 1 as well, but it's on a different platform. But I do also have the digital version for Dishonored 1. Really, really enjoyable games. Very, very fun. I really gotta speed through these because I have no idea why I'm sweating like crazy and shaking. And I know I haven't been on camera in a long time, but I've never been like this on camera. I'm really just chalking it up to the fact that I need to eat something. All right. So I've got the original Fallout trilogy. This is Fallout 1, 2, and Fallout Tactics. For a while there, you can actually find this in stores for a little bit shortly after Fallout New Vegas came out, where Interplay was still kind of fighting over the rights for Fallout in respects with Bethesda. But I do also have Fallout 4. I have not played Fallout 76 yet. It's on my Amazon wish list. I'm going to get it probably sometime in the next couple months, but I haven't played that yet. Fallout 4 is an enjoyable game, and it's an enjoyable Bethesda game. It's just not really a good Fallout game, unfortunately. And from what I've heard, Fallout 76 is much the same. So there's those. I also have Fable, The Lost Chapters, which I did a Let's Play of. I actually did a Let's Play of the Anniversary Edition on the 360 some time ago. And I really got to get back in and do Let's Plays of the other games as well. I think this comes on 4 DVDs. Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's 4. Anyways, there's that. And then I have Skyrim as well. Got this right at launch too. I remember that day, 11/11/11. I remember that was a big push in the marketing for that. A really, really enjoyable game. And then my last 2 regular box PC games are Myst 4 and 5, Revelations and End of Ages. One of these days I will Let's Play the rest of the Myst franchise. Really good send-off to the series, I think. I just wish they did more afterwards, unfortunately. Alright, so now we have my big box PC games. I don't have too many of them, but we may as well go through them quickly as we can. So we have Last Express. I haven't actually played this. I picked this up at a Goodwill, though, for like $3 or $4. This is actually even still sealed. I've never opened this. And I probably won't, considering I have the digital version. I can play that. But it should all be in here. Like I said, it's never been opened. I got nothing else to say about this one. I also have Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction expansion set. Unfortunately, I picked this up at a Salvation Army, so it's a little bit worse for the wear, and it doesn't actually have the disc in it. It has everything in it except for the disc, so this just sits on my shelf right now. This was one of my more recent acquisitions, actually my most recent acquisition, Beyond Atlantis. This is a classic point-and-click adventure game, one of my favorites. It's not very good, but it is still one of my favorites for nostalgia more than anything, and I finally got myself an actual copy of it. I am so glad to have that. Alright, I also picked up The Ultimate Doom. I got this back when I was thinking of doing critiques of classic games, and so this is the retail copy of Doom. Comes on a CD. The original shareware version was actually on 3 floppy disks. So, but this one also includes the all-new bonus episode, Thy Flesh Consumed. So this is the version you'll probably play more often than not nowadays, rather than the original shareware one. Speaking of Myst earlier, I have Riven, the sequel to Myst, and this actually is on 5 CDs. The only game I know of to be on 5 CDs, much like Division's the only one I know of to be on 5 DVDs. But I don't know if this game actually needed to be on 5 DVD or CDs, or if they just did that because it fit the theme of the game, because the number 5 plays very heavily into the lore of the world of Riven and so on. Still, really fun game. Gotta do that one of these days. And I also have Myst 3 Exile, which was the first Myst game not to be produced directly by Cyan, unfortunately. This was developed by Presto Studios and published by Ubisoft. And still, pretty good game. Really faithful Myst sequel. So, really, really worth it if you get a chance. And then I talked about Civilization 5 earlier. This is actually the collector's edition of Civilization 5, the special edition. And it has like all these bonus things in here. There's an art book. Of course, you've got the game as well on DVD. It comes with a soundtrack. Comes with these little like cast iron, no, not iron, but these little cast figurines, minifigures, various units, and so on. And really, really, I felt this was a worthwhile collector's edition. You know, you don't really see too many of those anymore that are really worthwhile, but this one I always felt was. All right, let's put that away real quick and move on, because we're coming down to the last ones here. This is my original copy of Rollercoaster Tycoon. I don't have any of the expansions on their own like this, but this is my original big box copy of Rollercoaster Tycoon, which I got all the way back in, I want to say 2000. When did this come out? Even, where is that? I am not seeing copyright information for some reason. Odd. I don't know why I'm not seeing copyright information, but I think I got this like 2000 or whatever. I got this as a Christmas present from my grandparents, so thank you, Gramsy and Granddad. All right. I also have a couple battle chests from Blizzard as well, including the Warcraft battle chest, which I have to specify which one this is because there are 2 different Warcraft battle chests, not to mention the various World of Warcraft battle chests, which include more and more expansions. But there's the Warcraft battle chest with Warcraft and Warcraft, Orcs and Humans, and Warcraft 2 Tides of Darkness. And then there's also the Warcraft 3 battle chest, which still just says Warcraft battle chest, but that's the one I have here. Warcraft 3 Reign of Chaos and Warcraft 3 The Frozen Throne expansion included, as well as full strategy guides for them. Really, really fun real-time strategy games. I can't wait to see what they're doing with Warcraft 3 Reforged, which is the remake that Blizzard's currently working on. And then there is also the Starcraft battle chest. And actually, this actually came in another form factor where it was like half as wide but twice as thick. So this is Starcraft and Starcraft Brood Wars. A lot of fun. This excellent turn-based or real-time strategy game. I gotta do LPs a lot of these games at some point. That's actually currently free to play on Battle.net, and if you want the remastered version, I think it's like $10 or $20. I don't remember. But my final Blizzard battle chest is the Diablo battle chest, which includes Diablo, Diablo 2, and Diablo 2 Lord of Destruction, not to mention the strategy guides. Really, really fun games. Diablo is now, of course, playable on GOG.com. I imagine it might be coming to Battle.net at some point. Then again, Blizzard might just not want any of their really old games on there. But you can get it on GOG now if you really want to play it. And I might, at some point soon, start playing that game. But we'll see. All right, so I also have... I talked about Morrowind earlier and how much I enjoyed it, and I also have the collector's edition of Morrowind. Sorry, not the collector's edition. This is the Game of the Year edition, which is the same format as the collector's edition, I believe. So this actually includes both of the expansions, Blood Moon and Tribunal, and this is also the version you'll find on Steam as well. Really, really fun game. Glad to have it. So then I have another collector's edition. This is the Fallout New Vegas collector's edition, which came with a lot of stuff in it as well. This had a graphic novel in it, graphic novel, the game, of course. There was a making of DVD, but this also came with a deck of playing cards and the platinum chip from the game, as well as a set of poker chips from various casinos in the game, because since this was set in New Vegas, the Las Vegas area, it really was themed around, that kind of thing. So really, really fun stuff to have in this. And I only have one game left to show you guys for the PC, and then I'll be back with another video for the other systems. All right, and the last thing is, again, one of my recent acquisitions. I actually purchased this last year, and it just arrived recently because this was a Kickstarter, and I am, of course, talking about the Myst 25th Anniversary Collector's Pack. So this was entirely available through Kickstarter. There were various tiers. When you started getting physical rewards, they started including linking books, and there are two versions of the linking book. There's one that is just the book, and there's one with a working LCD panel, which I currently have set up. I have all of the see, it actually opens up, and you can see it's running the Cyan logo right now. I actually have it set up to do that right now. I could switch out the various different movies. It started with a Myst movie in there, but there's this panel on the side here that you pull out, and it's got the entire Myst franchise on DVD, workable on Windows 10. There's also a Mac version as well, but I got the Windows version. And then there was another tier higher than the one I got that included some things that I don't have. Obviously, I don't have them. But they were recreations of props from Riven, and they would have gone one in this here where the inkwell would have been, and then the flap on the bottom here, it would have held Gen's pen. But obviously these things are blank or empty because I don't have them. But still, it's really good to have a working linking book, all the copies of the games, and unfortunately this was only available by Kickstarter. You might be able to find some on eBay, but I doubt it because, this was a Kickstarter for the fans. Anyways, that is it for my PC games collection. I will be back next time with more games for more systems. So until then, see you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe.